What's up, guys? We're going to have a bit of a different video here for you. Hopefully this is decent. I literally just threw this up on this nail because this nail was already here. And yeah, so I won't make the wife angry. We are in my basement. This is kind of my area, if you will. But also, it's not. And those of you know, you know. I literally just bought markers, bought this. And I'm going to do a little diagram here of how I'm going to approach my lawn care business going forward the next 3 years at least, bare minimum. Not saying that that's the only amount of time, but for the next 3 seasons, this is how I'm going to approach it. I'm going to go ahead and draw a little diagram here. Okay, guys, so take a look at this. High ticket, right in the middle, and cheap. Now, what this is representing, and I literally come up with this in my head, taking my mower to be worked on. I literally thought of this giant rectangle and like this part of the market. I didn't forget this nowhere. This is original out of my brain driving on the interstate. I'm going to put this right here. I think that 20% of the market is the guys that are expensive as hell. 60% of the market is somewhere in the middle. They're like, they have a pretty good close rate. They probably have in between a 50 to 60% close rate. Down here, and this will all correlate, and I'll tell you what close rate is in just a second. Down here, you got the cheap guys. These are the $20 chuck in a truck guys that are they're just trying to get as many customers as possible. They probably have a 90 to 100% close rate. So we're going to put close rate over here. And I'm just guessing here, like I said, we'll put 50 to 70% close rate. I don't know how well you can see the orange. And then down here, we'll put freaking 90%. I messed up. 90 to 100%. That means they are landing every single call that comes their way. So out of 10 calls, these guys are only landing 3 to 4 jobs maximum every 10 calls that comes their way. This section is landing at least 5 to 7 calls out of the 10 calls that come their way. This section, hey, you call their number, how much you want us to do it for? They don't care. But hey, $15, hey, you know, they want every customer that calls them. The cheap guy. And the reason why I thought of this is there's a guy in my area, I know the guy. He just started and I did record a video, but I want to say this here right now. He made a Facebook post that said, "Let's be honest. I want your business so bad I'll undercut any price." And I was just like, ugh, you know, like, ugh, he's down here. I don't want to be here. I want to be like, next year, I want to be probably like right here. Like the top 30%. Now, I know one of these guys up here has 48 yards, and he happens to be my cousin. My papa's dad is his papa's dad. So whatever down the line cousinry that is, he's up here. Him and his wife tackle 48 yards, and there are a lot of acre yards, but he charges no less than $150. The reason why I want to be up here and not like here and below is because, how can I do this and not, okay, we can't do that. I'll just have to write it down here. The reason why is because of this right here, you know, and again, I'm on my knees now. Less work, more money. That will be the goal, right, of running a lean and mean lawn care operation. I don't know why I drew that arrow there. I was just like, why did I draw a mark? So I drew an arrow. Anyway, this is something I just came up with in my head on the interstate. I don't know what to call this. Overall, we'll call it this, the overall contractor market. Now, you can kind of correlate this. This could also double as like what clients are willing to pay. The majority of clients pay right here. I'm just going to draw over stuff at this point because I can't flip it back. Majority of clients are going to be right here, right? You don't want these clients at all. Just let these cycle through that one man just getting started. I'll do it for any price guy. Let that be down there. A lot of guys want to be right here. However, there are guys up here, you see. And I would like to be on the upper threshold of here and get up to here. I would like to have in between a 30 to 50 probably is where I want to be, especially next year. I think that's what we'll do. As of right now, I'm right here, right? Like I'm right here this first season. I'm right in the middle. I'm not down here, but I'm not up here, but I'm right here. And I want to get up here. So that means I'm going to have to, next season, I'm going to be increasing prices by a lot. But also, how do you go about route density in lawn care? That's a question, because, you know, this could be affected by the route density aspect of it. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I had to get it out of my head onto paper for you guys to see, because I can explain it, but this is how I think about it. This is the image I have in my head. Is the majority of market, 60% of the market is here at this price. 20% of the guys are up here at high ticket, high dollar. But also 20% of the market is down here. The word competitive, I don't see that everybody's just willing to take, like, tell me how much to pay. Everybody's not down here. A lot of guys, there's enough content out there on YouTube, Facebook groups, that a lot of guys aren't going to be down here. A lot of guys are right here. That's why I said 60%, right? That's just how it is. Like, instead of being at 120 to 150 for acre yards in my area, 60% of guys are right here at, 80 to 100, right? Like, that's where I'm at, So this is how I see the lawn care market and the overall contractor market. You could probably apply this to any service business, honestly. But the goal of lean and mean, and not that you're afraid of work, but the goal is less work, more money. But also, let's touch on this point real quick. I do have to go. What time is it? Okay, guys, I got to hurry this video up. I got to go pick up my son from daycare. But I do want to make this point, that people up here, hopefully you can see the blue contrast. I can't flip this over. This could lead to more picky customers. Now, in my cousin's case, I think he has maybe a couple there that are in the like $2 million+ home customers, that it has to be a certain inch, has to be perfectly edged and stuff, or they get fined. This is something also you might have to worry about. But the majority of his customers are up here. They've just used him for years. He's mowed since he was 14. And I get a lot of my advice from him as well. He has a lot that aren't picky. They just don't want anybody else in this tier to do their yard because they trust Derek, is his name. They trust him to do it. So he's up here, and he doesn't have, all his customers aren't this. But this is something that, you got to worry about when you're pricing high ticket, because they're going to expect and probably be more picky. But what's funny is that these people down here are also more picky. Ain't that crazy how that works? So would you rather charge $20, or would you rather have a more picky customer for $160 a week? Think about that. Ain't that a crazy dichotomy? Ain't that a crazy dichotomy? These are going to be a lot of times probably more picky than right here at 100, in between, we'll just say 120 to 160. He's at 150 to 160, and that's his line. He just cuts it right there, acre yard. And you can get half acre is going to be, 80. Okay, you can kind of get the numbers. And the reason I'm leaning down is because on this screen, that's just what it looks like. I got to hurry. All right. But also, isn't it wild that the bottom 20% of customers and contractors are going to be dealing with more picky customers, and they're not paying a dime? Ain't that crazy? At $20 to $30 a week. Ain't that crazy? So, if you want the majority and build route density, it's probably smart to be right here. I just want to see if I can do this. I want to see if I can get to the point of where he's at, mowing 48 yards, probably making more than the guy mowing 80 yards here. You see? Less yards, more money, because he's serving up here. Something to think about. I'm not saying this is how it is. This is literally in my brain, okay? No joke. This is in my brain, and I'm able to just throw it on the paper for you to soak up and discuss in the comments and make videos about, hey, this is how I think. Look how crazy this is. There's stuff everywhere. This is my brain, no joke. Just the overall market. This is how I see it. You know, you can take a screenshot. Maybe I can close in for you. Can you see it real well? Okay, this may be a little bit better. Now you can actually see what I wrote. Sorry for drawing over everything. If I can get me a stand, I'll get me a stand, and I will be able to turn it over and write all this extra stuff. But look at that. This is how I think that all markets are. 20% of guys are up here, 60% are right in the middle, and then you got your cheap guys, right? And then customers are a direct correlation to this. This is my opinion. You know, by no means am I stating this as fact, but again, I want to see if I can do this like my cousin's doing, 48 yards, making more than guys doing 80 yards a week. You know, he's charging double what they're charging. It makes sense. But he's also been doing this since he was 14, and now he's in his upper 30s. He probably started here, and I understand that. He might have started down here when he was a kid, you know. I mean, just getting extra money, and then worked his way up here, and then got here. I want to see if I can just start like right here, you know, like right at the top of this piece of the pie. It's not a pie, it's a rectangle. But I literally came up with this on the interstate, threw it on a piece of paper for you guys to intake and discuss about. All right, I gotta go pick up my son from daycare. Drop a thumbs up if you enjoy this type of content. I literally just bought this. I bought this. I was like, I gotta get this out for these guys to watch. All right, peace out. We'll see you in the next one.